Hi everyone, so today is part one in a four-part series that I'll be doing this month in October on Halloween cake designs featuring candy bar cakes. So I'm really excited to share this very first one with you. It's Reese's peanut butter cake. So it's gonna be a chocolate cake with a peanut butter frosting, and we'll chop up some Reese's peanut butter cups and put it between the layers, and then we're gonna decorate it in a fun and cutie Halloween way. So the first thing that we're gonna do is make our chocolate cake. I'm going to do something very, very simple. We're just gonna make a doctored cake. So that simply means that we are going to take a cake mix, a chocolate cake mix, any kind that you like. It can be the milk chocolate or the double chocolate, whichever one, and it doesn't matter the brand, they're all pretty good. And you are going to start with your wet ingredients, always. So we're gonna take 3/4 cup of whole buttermilk, 1/3 cup of canola oil, 2/3 a cup of sour cream. And again, you wanna use full fat on everything when you bake, so it tastes as good as it possibly can. I love a doctored cake mix because they're consistently good. It's a consistently good bake. It tastes good, rain or shine. It's gonna be good if you have a doctored cake mix. I like them a lot. Then to this, you also want to add 3 whole eggs and a tablespoon of vanilla. Gotta love that vanilla. Now, you're going to whisk all of these ingredients together, and of course they're all room temperature because that makes for an even bake. The way that I like to do it is I set out all of my ingredients, and as I'm preparing to make the cake, they all come to room temperature, so I don't have to stand around and wait for it. It just happened kind of naturally while I was getting ready. Now, once you have all the wet ingredients, you are going to sift in, and this is important, sift in the cake mix because this will remove any lumps from the cake mix, and it will make the cake nice and light in consistency when you bake it. So sift it in just like this. I love cake. I usually make 1 cake each week. Every Sunday we eat cake. And I make all different kinds and all different designs. I have a blast doing it. Now, you're going to mix the wet and the dry together. And once we have almost all of that dry mixed into the wet, we're gonna add a 1/2 cup of mini semi-sweet chocolate chips. Okay. Meanwhile, before I got started, I didn't tell you, but I took 3 6-inch cake rounds and I sprayed them with baking spray with flour. And my cakes never ever stick. As long as I use that, then they come right out. So I've set my temperature on my oven at 325, and it's already come to temp. I'm gonna put these cakes in, and in my oven at 325 for these 6-inch cake rounds, it takes 26 minutes for the perfect bake. Now your oven will be different than mine. So that's why cake making takes some practice, because you have to know where the hot spots are. You have to know if 325 is the correct temperature for you to bake at. It might be 350. You don't know until you practice it and see exactly what your oven can do. So sometimes the cakes need to be rotated in there because of those hot spots. But what I have found is you need to gain some confidence on how long you should bake these cakes, because if you take it out too early, then it will sink in the middle and it'll be a little undone, but the outskirts of it will be cooked. I hate when that happens. Or you will overbake it, and an overbaked chocolate cake is one that you do not want to eat. They are dry and really unpleasant. In my opinion, even more unpleasant than a white cake that has been overbaked. So I'm trying to evenly distribute this batter into the 3 cake rounds. And I think I got pretty close. Not exactly perfect. Okay. Now, once you have your cake batter into your pans, you want to shimmy shake it around, tap, tap. That gets out the air bubbles, shimmy shake, tap, tap, shimmy shake, tap, tap. I'm gonna put these in my oven at 325 for 26 minutes. And when I touch the middle, it will spring back and it will be moist and delicious and perfect. And I hope that you will enjoy making this as much as I do. While they're baking, I want to tell you that yesterday I baked some chocolate cakes, and the same exact ones that I just showed you how to make, and I put them in the freezer after they cooled off, wrapped them in saran wrap first and stacked them together, wrapped that in aluminum foil and put it in the freezer. A frozen cake is so much more preferable than one that has freshly been made because it will take the icing and the decorations better. It also tastes better. It's more moist, and a cold cake is always yummy. So if you've never tried that before, give it a shot this time and see what you think. Now, while I am waiting for those other cakes to bake, and I've got my other ones sitting in front of me, I am gonna make a peanut butter buttercream. So because I'm going to also fill my cakes and decorate them with this buttercream, I am going to use 5 sticks of unsalted butter. And I'm gonna put in a pinch of salt and put that with the paddle into my KitchenAid. And I'm gonna whip this for about 2 to 3 minutes until the butter is nice and fluffy. Then I'll show you what it looks like at that point, and we'll add some other amazing ingredients. So after I creamed my butter, I added in 3/4 cup of creamy peanut butter, a 1/2 cup of heavy cream, 2 tablespoons of vanilla, and I whipped and whipped until it looked like this, super fluffy. Of course, it wasn't green yet. I added in an entire tube of neon green gel food coloring, and now it looks like this. But before I dyed it green, I took out a 1.5 cups and I put in about 1/3 of this purple gel food coloring until it looked like this, but you can do any colors that you like. Now, we are going to first stack the cake, fill it, and then put it in the freezer so it can firm up a little bit. And then we're going to put on our final coat of buttercream and then start decorating it. So what I like to do is take a little smear of buttercream. And if you like peanut butter, you're gonna love this peanut butter buttercream. Woo, it is so good, I love it. And then you put on your first layer of chocolate cake. And if it's still frozen, that's ideal. It defrosts within 2 hours. So this will give you plenty of time to put it together. And it just does so well if it's really cold. It really is discouraging when you're putting a cake together and it's so warm that the buttercream starts to melt or the cake starts to lean. And I've had many a tear over a leaning cake. So then after you put on that first thin coat of buttercream, I chopped up some peanut butter cups. These are the thin peanut butter cups. And you are just going to put about 1/2 cup of chopped up peanut butter cups on this cake. Ooh, it's so good. And then the second layer, make sure it's nice and even. Then another dollop of buttercream. And you want to keep it nice and thin, not too much between the layers. And once you get that buttercream on there, then another 1/2 cup of peanut butter cups. Now I realized that the whole bag was probably too much, so I wouldn't use that many. I would use maybe half the bag of a family size for this. Now you can take the rest of these and put it around the edge. Once you've decorated, that would be delicious. I'm gonna do mine with sprinkles today, so I'm just going to eat these myself because I love peanut butter cups so much. Then you're gonna put the third 6-inch cake round on there. Now, before I do any more to it, I'm gonna pop it in the freezer for a little bit, let it get nice and firm so it won't wiggle at all when I put on this first coat of buttercream. So I'm gonna pop that in the freezer, and then I wanna show you how we're gonna decorate while it starts to firm up. While my cake is in the freezer, I have taken sugar ice cream cones and I am chopping them in half so they look about like this. And it doesn't have to be perfect, so once you've done the first one, then do all the other cones to the same measurement. And I just use a serrated steak knife, and oh, it came off very well. Sometimes they shatter and it's good to have extras just in case. Now, you're gonna take that ice cream cone and dip it in melted chocolate wafers, and I used white. And then you are going to drip off the excess and then take your sprinkles. Now, I got some Monsterland sprinkles from Walmart that were in a big bottle, but you could do whatever kind you wanted. I wanted to do the cake in purple and green. And so because of that, I picked sprinkles that were the same colors. Now you want to sprinkle the chocolate and try to coat it as much as you can. And then once you have done that, then put it on a piece of parchment paper to harden. I'm gonna do one more. Now we're gonna take these ice cream cones and we're gonna stick it to the side of the cake all the way around. And then we're gonna take this purple peanut butter buttercream and we're gonna put a little topping on each cone and then put some eyeballs all over it so it looks like a little monster cake. I'm not into scary Halloween. I like everything to be PG or G. My kids want it a little bit scarier than I do, but I don't want the blood and the gore, just the cute. Okay, now that I have done my cones, I'm gonna check on my cake again. I'm gonna put a crumb coat on my chocolate cake now. So you don't need much to do a crumb coat, and I could go to all the trouble of piping it on, but I don't wanna have to wash the bag. So I'm just going to dollop some buttercream onto it and then smear it out very gently all over the cake, all the way around. And once I get this crumb coat on, I'm gonna put it back into the freezer to firm up. So when you make a cake, make sure that you have your freezer ready, that you have freezer space. I have to actually plan it out, make sure that I don't have too much in the freezer, or I end up having to take things out of the freezer and sending it all over the counters while my cake's chill. My cake has come out of the freezer and I gave it a very generous second coat. And I just wanted to tell you, because that took a little bit of time, is that when you are trying to smooth it out and make everything look even and not see any bubbles in the buttercream, dip this in cold water while you go. I just typically will run my sink and then just keep going around and around, dip, scrape, and then keep going and going to get it to that smooth finish. Now, to be able to decorate this, you're gonna take your sprinkles that you dipped your ice cream cones into, and you are just going to very gently press it onto the bottom inch to inch and a half of cake. Now there are eyeballs in this, and it looks like little pills or something, I don't know, but oopsie daisies. You're gonna keep going all the way around, and just be prepared to have to clean up a bit afterwards. Here we go. I'm gonna save some eyeballs for decorating the ice cream in just a little bit. There we go. All right. Make sure that you like where you've got it, the height on it, and if you didn't want to do a monster cake but still wanted to do the chocolate peanut butter cup idea, you could not dye it, keep it that peanut butter color, frost the cake, and then make a ganache strip on the top of it, and you could put some more peanut butter icing swirls on top and then put the thin chocolate peanut butter cups in between it. That would also be really beautiful. Now, you're going to take your little ice cream cones that you have made and go slightly above the sprinkles, and you're going to press into it. Now I'm going to take another one on the other side so I can push them into each other and have a firmer grip on the cake. Okay, now you're gonna go all the way around. I think I'm gonna go about an inch between each one. And again, find the other opposing side and squeeze them together, push. And keep doing the same, but an inch apart, and press. And again, right here in the middle of those two, and here, and press. Okay, now take a 2D Wilton tip and put your peanut butter purple buttercream into this, and you are going to fill these ice cream cones, and then when you get to the top, shimmy shake up like that. And we're gonna fill each one of these cups just like that. Shimmy shake, boop. And we're gonna top each one of these little cones with a candy. You could use anything that's round. I'm using sweet tarts, the little sweet tart minis. And you'll just pick out any color that you like. You can alternate different colors and then put it on the very tip like that. And I'll go pink for that one and orange for the next, so on. And then you can take some eyeballs and put it into the icing like it's alive and looking at you. You could put some more sprinkles into it like this. Okay, now I'm gonna keep filling these up, but I wanted to show you that on the top, all we're simply gonna do, taking this exact same tip, we are going to pipe it on top like this. Whoop. And we're gonna take a purple gumball. You could take any kind of candy that you wanted though, and put on the top, and I'm gonna go all the way around. So I'm gonna keep working and then I'll show you the finished product. So here is the finished cake. I just continued to go all the way around showing you what I had done, and I am tickled pink with it. I hope that you are too, and that you will make it for your own Halloween celebration. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you have not, and thank you again. Bye.